有个世界著名的建筑师，他跟我说，我完全没有天分，他基本上是叫我说你根本不用考虑建筑，这个是我的事业，我的事业，这是我的生命的一个很重要的价值。
他本身对于这样的一种理念的坚持，那个强硬跟深入，我觉得是很难见的。
他事实上一直不断在思考，他的观察力变得非常敏锐。
我先生是我一个最大的粉丝嘛，不喜欢的他就会直讲，当下我就我有一种生气，然后我就说好，我知道了。
Grace Zhang is an outstanding architect and designer whose passion for architecture and cross-cultural perspectives allows her to break through traditional frameworks. In an architecture industry traditionally dominated by men, how did she break free from conventions to develop innovative designs that are uniquely hers? Let's delve into her story together. At the age of 27, architect Grace Zhang stunned the world with her design of the Qingcui Rest Area, widely acknowledged as Taiwan's most beautiful rest area. In 2021, her talent was further acknowledged on an international stage when she won 2 prestigious awards from the American Institute of Architects for her projects in Taiwan. She received the International Architecture Award and the Urban Design Award, becoming the first woman of Chinese descent to achieve this honor.
其实我得到那个奖，其实我当下就是那同事跑来告诉我的时候，我就哭了，因为我觉得很难得这样。他基本上算是同业给我的肯定嘛，所以我觉得，这个东西对我来讲，有同业的肯定对我来讲是非常重要的。意思说，至少我期待我自己做的建筑师，我有达到那个 level。
Grace's journey to recognition and success in architecture has been a particularly profound experience. Before her accomplishments were widely acknowledged, even during her studies, she faced significant criticism and rejection. Her hard work and dedication finally paid off with a major award, a deeply poignant experience.
有个世界著名的建筑师，我在哥伦比亚大学念研究所，其实本来压力就蛮大的。他跟我说，我完全没有天分，他基本上是叫我说你根本不用考虑建筑。
Grace was once bluntly told that she lacked the talent for architecture, a comment that stunned her. However, she had already firmly established her destiny and goals in her mind. Despite her clear vision, she encountered disdain during a review meeting in Taiwan, an experience that tested her resolve.
这个很有名望的这个学者竟然我在那个整个委员会，就大概有20-30个人的这样的一个简报会议，他竟然说了一句说这么辛苦啊，就一个小女生在建筑师旁边默默的支持。那我的 partner 是一个男生的建筑师，我其实。我那一天以后，我非常的生气。我在想，你怎么可能 ？You know， 你是谁？还跟我说我不是建筑，你才不是建筑师哎！我这个教育多么难得的取得，然后我的执照那么难得的取得 ，even 我是 design team 的一员，你也不应该这样跟我说话，更何况是我是这个 project 的 design architect，right？
At that moment, Grace was so furious that she couldn't speak. However, she knew she couldn't let herself be defeated by this.
3-5年这种事情就会浮现一次，我觉得我应该不是例外。我觉得很多专业女生，就是 professional women， 一定跟我都有同样的经验，就是说你要知道它是存在的，但是你要有方法去 circumnavigate， 就是你要有别的办法，还是可以解决问题。然后更重要的就是说，你不能让它影响到你的心态，因为如果你为他讲了这个话，你就毁灭了，那就惨了。那接下来就什么事情都做不了。你的心必须要很强。当人家跟你说，我觉得你设计的很不好，那你的心要很强，你要能够知道，就是说，try to understand， 为什么他会这样说？真的是很多，就是无穷的人，其实不懂你做什么，或者不太认同你做什么。我觉得自己要知道，要学习。可能是因为这样，我很固执吧。 当你自己有一个实在是很清楚的 gut feeling， 就是说这个是我的事业，我的事业，这是我的生命的一个很重要的价值。
In Taiwan's male-dominated architecture scene, apart from gender, language presented another challenge for her.
比较弱势，工班们，他们不会觉得你是一个讲话有分量的人啊。老实说，因为有时候工班就会很故意讲台语，不想让他听懂。可能旁边有业主的时候，他就跟业主讲台语，那可能 Grace 就会听不懂这样子。
Grace is of Chinese descent and grew up in a quaint town in Malaysia. After completing her education in Canada, she started working at an international firm. Later, she married Hong Yujun in Taiwan, and together they co-founded an architecture firm.
他20几年前刚来台湾的时候，国语是可能顶多讲个5句吧，母语是广东话嘛，马来西亚华侨长大的时候，然后从小就英文环境，然后来到台湾，我说你居然跑去大学去教书，那现在完全用国语演讲，什么都没有问题。在工地，尤其是在南部或者是比较偏远澎湖啊等等，那些地方的那个完全就讲台语啊，他不会听台语啊。然后是很多的女性建筑师有时候遇到困难是工地的，就是这些施工单位很不听，尤其是个子小小的一个女生。
Grace always had a passion for drawing from a young age. However, her parents wanted her to study medicine. Despite nearing completion of her medical degree, she became captivated by architecture and couldn't resist its allure.
我是被派来这个世界上就是要做这件事情，我真的自己会觉得，会有这样的想象。一个成长的过程，其实很重要的一点就是说，要找到自己的声音。其实，在那个过程，你有一些你想做的事情，可能是那个时候还没有那个语言说出来或表达出来，你一定会遇到很多觉得这个不怎么样的，或者觉得你想做的事情 ，you know， 没有什么意思。其实你自己要能够决定，要为你自己决定，就是说你要听别人说的，那还是你要坚持。
Determined to pursue her dream, there was no time for discouragement. What fueled Grace wasn't just her innate rebellious spirit, but also her desire for constant innovation in architecture.
建筑最大的 power 就是说，我们可以把很多文化里面隐藏的一些纹理，使用建筑的工具，比如说我们用的材料，或者我们的光影或空间怎么塑造，然后真正的去把一个有意识的空间，让一个群体在里面活动。其实它有 power 可以改变人的行为。
她就是一个很特别的一个女建筑师，要在这个充满了男人的这个建筑的世界里面，她表现出来的是一个很典范性的。她的作品非常的细腻，她本身对于这样的一种理念的坚持，那个强硬跟深入，我觉得是很难见的。一般男生的建筑师比较难达到的。
Grace is passionate about architectural structures and explores various possibilities. For instance, she uses eco-friendly materials that are rare in Taiwan. By utilizing a rice-shaped module, she creates a dougong-style structure, fostering a sense of flowing space.
他做东西其实没有什么边界，然后是没有框框。然后我做的工作，我做结构设计嘛，所以理论上跟安全有关系。他会把所有的事情就会 push 到那个 limit。应该说 beyond limit 啦，就是他就会希望做各种的尝试这样子，然后不太会死心这样子。那刚好我是那种不甘愿的人。
Structural engineering forms the backbone and support of architecture, vital and indispensable. With a fervent love for architecture, Grace exudes professional confidence. Coupled with Zhang Yingzhi's perspective of treating structure as art, the two complement each other as excellent partners in their work.
我觉得我们两个都在互相 test 大家底线是哪里这样。从做设计角度，好像不会从就比较不会从要是省事、省时间、省力气，我觉得那样子不容易做出一个不一样的设计啦。
Architecture is a multifaceted industry, from an idea to a blueprint, and then to a three-dimensional model. Sparking creativity within various regulations is key. How exactly are unique designs generated amidst these constraints?
我是一个 antenna， 我收线，我接收了以后呢，永远就会有一个 moment， 那这一些所有的完全不同类、不同的需求，这些所有的限制，它就会 somehow 凝固在一点。然后在这一点，其实我常常会 search for 这一点，可能这一点就会称为那个灵感成型的东西。
Grace's husband, Hong Yujun, who excels in industrial design, observes Grace's designs as a cohesive story form, integrating design, form, and structure seamlessly.
Grace 切入一个建筑作品设计的时候的角度，跟我们看到，可能 maybe 我们看到就是很多男性建筑师比较不一样。这块基地里面的一些事件历史，它的周遭，然后再加上很多的建筑的限制、法规的限制等等，或者是环境的限制，这些东西把它形成一个很独特的，在这个基地上的一个条件，我们叫它 system form。
Integrating architecture with natural landscapes is not only a challenge for architects, but also a testament to their skill. Grace created a paradise-like sanctuary with her work at the Wandering Walls in Kending. With her skillful design, the three-story walls seem to flow and dance like silk, masterfully dividing public and private spaces. This interface between the building and natural spaces has earned global recognition. ArchDaily, the world's most renowned architectural platform, listed it as one of the top 100 outstanding buildings worldwide. It is featured in the first edition of the ArchDaily Guide to Good Architecture, making it the only work from Taiwan to be selected. This seamless and harmonious design is also exemplified in another AIA award-winning work, Penghu House, integrating architecture with natural landscapes. It uses the imagery of local curved mountain walls to create a private residence that resembles a contemporary art gallery.
可以盖出一间50年或100年之后看到还是觉得很有特色，然后又有具备澎湖的这种文化风俗，然后又有一个很有代表性的一个作品。从开始讨论到完成的时候，应该有将近5年的时间。它非常追求完美，所以很多大小事情它都亲力亲为，这个是让我蛮佩服的。
At the request of the client for a multi-generational home, Grace intricately intertwined history and natural surroundings. The undulating, stack-curved mountain walls, along with the rolled roofline, reflect her deep exploration of local culture and history, seamlessly integrated into an innovative design vocabulary.
澎湖二坎那边部落都是比较就是闽南式的，所以它那个屋顶都是比较锥脊，有那个锥脊状的那个。我们建筑师很厉害，就是他很会把就是很传统的一些元素，然后我们把它全新的语汇把它诠释出来，不同的材料，可能简丽的线条。
房子不是只是为了好看，是应该要实用。那包括采光跟通风也是。哇，那个采光通风也是让我爸妈都非常满意。澎湖这么热的天气，他们现在夏天也不用吹冷气，冬暖夏凉。在澎湖可以设计冬暖夏凉，我觉得是一个挑战度很高的，便利度也好，跟整个生活的舒适度，我觉得这个使用上面，我觉得会对我来讲，怎么样？我觉得最在意是这个。
Another award-winning project located in the Railway Department Park of the Taiwan Railway Museum, Tracescape, utilizes pavement with varying colors and patterns to echo the traces of historical usage of the site throughout different periods.
我就借用它这种大概在这个位置的这种模糊 还有这种印记，就有点像是一个 impression， 就是说，我想表达的就是说，这些痕迹之前有在过这一边，它大概在这个位置。像后面这个，它其实是一些回收的瓦片，是从这个基地再捡回来做的，就把它整个印记表现出来。所以那个整个概念还有整个 project 的名字就叫做 Landscape of Traces， 因为它是一些痕迹。
Reinterpreting the historical past of the site, depicting textures to reveal traces.
最大的挑战就是这个基地其实非常的复杂，然后它负责的单位也多，很难去凝聚在一个其实大家都可以同意的点上面，所以光是这个过程，我记得那个时候委员会都不知道开了 N 次了，可能超过100次以上，整个 process 其实耗了9年才到达它完工的那一天。
The challenging project of Tracescape is currently being edited by the American publisher Gibbs Smith Education and will be featured in geography textbooks for 6th and 7th graders.
我觉得耐心非常的重要。如果因为你其实没有耐性，你不可能就是跟着这整个 project 的 process， 你还会保有那一股当初你想设计的、你想达到的理念，然后你的意图。
Grace, who embodies rationality, emotion, and patience, can often be seen in a neat dress and 3-inch high heels. She diligently channels every moment into hard work and consistently transforms challenges into creative energy.
他事实上一直不断在思考，在任何时候都是在心里在想，因为他有不同的困难、不同的问题。他本身多元文化让他看到一些事情就是他的观察力变得非常敏锐，然后看到的不是我们一般所谓看到的东西、表象的东西。
Growing up in 9 different cities has instilled in her a perpetual sense of curiosity. For instance, in the streets of Taipei, she marvels at the entire building adorned with exterior staircases.
我超喜欢后面这一栋建筑，它是一个非常不理性的消防梯，因为通常消防梯的设置啊，就是一个垂直动线。它是一个垂直，然后你每个楼层集中到那一点再下来。但是它这个有一点把这些楼梯做成像蔓延式的，这样整个 spread out， 所以我觉得它非常的酷。
Grace once described Taiwan as a bizarre beauty.
如果我们只是谈那个 efficiency 或者效率什么，其实你不会联想到这个，就是这是一个非常不理性的一个理性的需求，然后用个非常不理性的表现。我真的很希望有一天可以设计到这样，整个面都是楼梯的建筑。
In her eyes, the seemingly chaotic and unplanned urban streetscape represents the vibrant uniqueness of the city. She coined the term Urbanmatic, urban plus automatic, to describe this fusion of creativity and energy. Her creative endeavors extend beyond architectural planning to encompass stage set design as well.
当时设计重力方块的时候，和 Grace 有提到巡演拆装台的需求，就提出了是不是可能可以不使用任何螺丝组装。我在看整个作品细节的时候非常享受。因为每一个接点都是透过特制的榫接设计，只要靠地心引力就能够稳固的把一切给结构起来。一个充满科技、前卫、当代感的金属 cube， 包覆着内部古董氛围的机器人咖啡吧台，古典和未来的对比平衡得非常的美。
With each project she undertakes, meeting the client's demands, overcoming existing constraints, and consolidating various stakeholders' consensus are all paramount. Amidst the high-pressure work environment, she schedules high-intensity workouts to spur herself on.
张淑珍她很能撑，但总是会做到一些她觉得不合理、做不完的动作。总是会做完，咬牙做完，然后脸都变色啦，然后脾气都起来了，总是会做完。
Despite dealing with asthma, Grace's passion for challenges drives her to include physical training sessions twice a week in her busy schedule, ensuring a steady flow of energy.
Grace 很建议大家都一定要有运动这个习惯，像我们在跑工地啊，还是什么的，都需要有个健康的身体。
She discovered a profound connection between physical exercise and fully immersing herself in work. The joy of stretching represents her pursuit of strength and beauty, helping her think clearly and overcome stress.
业主方他们就会要求可能0.0多少黑北，就是那个空间一定要用到极致。临沂街它其实算是一个比较小型的集合住宅案，所以它每个空间都是蛮迷你的，但是它当然空间的使用上，它还是有它达到它的机能。
Challenging the conventional norms of residential design in Taiwan, she arranges rain shelters, balconies, and flower beds in a cascading formation. The exterior appears smooth in structure, while the interior boasts beamless spaces, creating a clean and minimalist layout.
中间我完全连管线都没有跑在中间，我都跑在边边这样。我做的那个设计的策略就是花台、阳台、露台整个连起来这样，所以它其实就会创造了这样的一个3米乘5米半这样的一个户外空间。
The expansive outdoor living spaces, open and square interior layout, along with the north-south exposure for natural light and ventilation, have resulted in the creation of high-density urban collective housing with a groundbreaking design concept.
如果你想在这么狭窄的巷子里，其实这个 type 是不存在的。这件事情我们是努力了相当久。我想改变现在那个台湾住宅的这种 type 的形态。台湾绝大部分的住宅大楼都是这个形式。它当然里面的规格一定就是那种3房2厅，然后厨房一直在某一个位置。我把结构系统打破了那个水泥框，然后呢，我也做到是南北通风、采光。然后厨房变成是一个非常弹性，就是说，如果你选择，你可以有一个完全是 open 的 island 还是怎么样，所以其实那个 option 就会多很多。
Having observed Grace's work for years, Wang Jingxiong believes that her meticulous and forward-thinking approach to design has already become a paradigm in the field.
因为他这个附近有一个郭旭元的案子，你可以看到他在一个很宽广的一个水平面上面去探索，而不是只是在一个点上面。基本上它的位置，历史的命运里面，它的位置就是在这个激烈转变期，它加速了这样的一个历史的进程嘛。因为它本身变成一个典范，在华人的世界里面，其实我们也大概也看到，在 Grace 他们这样的一个年纪里头，它其实是很前面的，在50到60岁的这一层里面，那个我们能够讲出很明确名字的这种华人的这种女性建筑师其实并不多，她是很少数可以讲出来。
She holds a significant position in the architecture industry. Since 2022, she has also served as the executive director of the Hong Foundation, selecting contemporary Taiwanese artists and supporting their artistic endeavors.
那通过基金会的工作，我开始可以真正的跟艺术家去互动，然后也借由我们的一些艺术计划，我其实开始可以真的是看到了这些很棒的艺术家，然后我可以直接去 support 他们，对我来讲是一个非常大的启发。它是一个我逃脱建筑的方式，但是其实在中间我也会得到了很多灵感。当代艺术其实它本身就像是一个大宇宙，它是宽阔的，所以我觉得 always excites me.
Grace 她处在一个很特别的地位，有一半电脑，一半是手工，也就是说她同时受过手工的训练，可是她也受过这种电脑的一种训练。很快的，接下来的下一群人就是纯电脑。我对他的期待，如果我可以对他有期待，他很难预测。可是我觉得他的宽广度应该远胜于其他的。
In pursuit of self-transcendence, Grace does not confine herself to a fixed architectural vocabulary. Having established and rooted herself in Taiwan, The year 2023 commemorates the 20th anniversary of her firm. She showcases her architectural works through three-dimensional paper sculptures, thus transforming them into paper art. This endeavor stands as a remarkable testament to her pursuit and realization of dreams, showcasing her unparalleled resilience and adaptability. Formerly dismissed as lacking architectural talent, Grace did not give up. Throughout her journey in the architecture industry, she rejected various forms of gender discrimination in both academia and the workplace. With a competitive mindset, she created her own architectural vocabulary and methods, crafting stunning Taiwanese architecture that captivates the international scene. Thank you for watching today.